Hello and welcome back to the channel. On this video, I'm going to talk about the basics of comedy writing. By the end of this video, I want you to have material in front of you that you just created as you watch this video, and you're going to have the basics of a stand-up comedy set right in front of you. And it's going to be quite unique to you. And the reason I'm making this video is because the number one thing holding people back from not writing their first comedy set and giving it a go and having some fun on stage is because they spend too much time simply thinking about it. And that is going to get you nowhere. Instead, we're going to grab a paper and pen and get to work. And of course, if you have performed in front of an audience and have the footage, I am offering a very unique service on this channel. If you have a performance up to 10 minutes long, I can do a positive critique on it, pointing out all of the things you did correct and what avenues you might go down in the future. If you're interested in hearing more about that service, drop into the description box and all the information along with the email address is right there. Okay, let's get into today's video. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab a paper and pen. We're going to start off very simple. You are going to immediately start to write a few things that happened to you or that you noticed over the last short period of time. It can be a day, it can be 2 days, whatever, it doesn't matter. No jokes. This is not the time to be funny, right? That'll come later. Just start writing. Just whatever you notice, what did you do, anything at all, just write it down immediately. It can be a short sentence, it can be a story you saw, it can be an event that happened, it doesn't matter. The idea here is to get writing. Don't just think about, oh, what's good enough for me to start on. Just get writing. Write a few things down, what happened to you. Take about 2 to 3 minutes to do that, right? So give yourself a little bit of time and just get a few ideas that you have in your head, maybe things you forgot about, and oh, I remember that happened to me. It doesn't matter. They don't need to be exciting. They can be boring because you're going to bore loads of people on stage in your time. So let's start at the beginning. They can be boring, they can be exciting, they can be funny. If it's funny, great. Doesn't have to be. Okay, next what we're going to do is we are going to turn over the page. New page now. It's very important. New page, new idea, fresh. And we're going to write a little intro. Very simple. You're going to write down your name, right? If you don't know what your name is, I can't help you there. But it's going to start off, hi, my name is, and I do this for a living. And, I hang around, these are the kind of people I hang around with. These are my friends. You're just going to write down a little intro bit about yourself, but the information in it I want it to be personal to you. I want it to be about what you want it to be about because there's no right or wrong answers here. It's very important in stand-up comedy, especially the beginning of your career. You're the one up there telling it. You don't want it coming from me. You don't want it coming from someone else. It's the information in your life that you find important. Maybe it's the job that you have. Maybe it's, the friends you hang around with. Maybe it's the relationship you have. Just something about your life, right? You can like it, you can hate it. Write it down on a piece of paper and give a little bit of information about it, right? Another 2 to 3 minutes. This is just the introduction. Okay, now we're going to move forward and we're going to write down on a third page, we're going to write down about performing comedy. Why is it that you got into comedy? What does performing comedy do for you? Now, of course, we're talking about this as if we were already on stage, right? Perhaps you have been on stage, maybe you haven't. Either way, it's a nice thing to think of. It's a nice topic to cover on stage, performing comedy, because everybody in front of you is going to be interested in comedy. If they perform it, they're waiting on their spot. And if they are coming to support grassroots comedy, well, they're clearly fans of comedy if they're coming to open mics. So it's a really safe topic, and that's going to be your closer. It cannot be any more simple than that. The more you know who you are in that environment, the funnier you're going to be when you continuously rewrite this set or other sets that you may have in the future. Okay, so how we're going to put it all together is this. We're going to start with the second page, the bit about yourself, where you put the information about you. Hi, my name is, and I do such a thing for a living, right? Every time we give them some information, for example, hi, my name is, that's a piece of information. And when you tell them what you do for a living, if that's what you choose to do, That's another piece of information. But if you watch the writing very clearly, every time you tell them a piece of information, you're going to either draw a line or leave a big gap or do something that stands out on the page that you can do over and over again. So when you finish, after all of the individual pieces of information you give them, you're going to be able to look at the page and see exactly, without having to read, where those pieces of information are. And then you're going to look at it. After you finish all that, you're going to continue, right? Just leave a little gap after every single piece of information. And then you're going to continue writing. But this time, we're going to go back to the first exercise, right? The exercise where you wrote down just a few things that happened to you or a few things that you noticed. And you're going to rewrite it from memory after your intro bit. So you can see how we are slowly developing a little bit of a routine. We have our information bit, we have a few pieces of information about ourselves, a nice little easy intro, and then we go on to things that we observed over the last few days, which you started this writing session doing. And then you do that for a few moments, and when you think you're done with that, you put in the third writing piece we did, which was your thoughts on performing comedy. And that's going to be where you wrap it up. How grateful are you for the opportunity of being on stage? What funny things can you think of to say here? Doesn't matter if you can't think of funny things off the hand, because it's all going to come together in just a second. After you have these three things in this new order written out, and of course, the reason, as I said earlier on, I get you to start on the writing number 2, which is just the things that happened to you over the last few days, is because that's the easiest to get out of your head. I feel it's even easier to write that than information about yourself, because something that you noticed, you might have been walking down the street and you saw a dog, or you might have seen a really cool fight, or you might have met up with a friend and you went to see a shit movie or something, just something like that. It's easy to think of those things that we've done because they're just fresh in our memory. Even though they're not very entertaining, it's easy to get onto a piece of paper. So that's why I have you start on that. So now we have it rewritten. We've been writing a lot now. We have it rewritten and we have our information, our little intro with information bits about ourselves, right? Things that we do, facts about ourselves. And then we have the things that we've noticed, the humorous things that have happened to us, or the boring things that have happened to us, and then we finish it up with our opinion on what we are doing in comedy, what comedy means to us, how nice it's to be there. Great. Every time we give the audience the piece of information, which we have a little mark after, we can see all these times now because they're marked with either a tick or whatever you chose to do. It could be a space. If you're typing it, you could just hit enter and there could be a gap. So if that's the case, then you see all the gaps. But whatever you did after every single piece of information, you just drew something. Now you can see all the gaps or whatever it is. That's a moment where a punchline or a humorous observation can go. That's where the comedy lies. That's where the hidden punchlines are. This is the basic of any comedy set. Whenever we give the audience any single piece of information about ourselves, there's room for a joke. Because that's the deal we have with the audience. It's the only reason that the audience will listen to us as comedians. So that's the deal we kind of make with them without actually speaking to them before we get on stage. Why would they listen to you if you are just going up as a stranger and having things to say? Well, if you're going to make them laugh after every single one of those moments, then damn right they will listen to you. And how we're going to do it is there's many, many ways in which we can turn ideas on their heads and make light and make humorous of the information things that we have to say, right? For example, if you're going to work and you work at a particular job, you're a teacher and you want to talk about what it is to teach kids all day long. There's loads of different techniques we can use in order to cover all those jokes. But I'm going to keep it even more simple than this because you're going to uncover those techniques even naturally, even by accident, the more you rewrite this tiny little piece about yourself. I guarantee it. If you rewrite this tiny piece that I'm giving you in this video, after this video, 5 times, I guarantee you that you are going to come up with funny punchlines in after every single piece of information. Are they all going to be killer? No, but you're just starting out. What I'm giving you today is the ultra basic way of writing comedy. First of all, we get all the ideas out of our head and don't worry about it being funny. And then we add the funny. If you have something to say about your job, if that's one of the topics you're covering, then say it. Rile in there. Are you the kind of person that does that job? Do people perceive you to do that job? Or are they going to assume you do a very different thing for a living? And the reason I bring up that technique is because I think that's one of the easiest techniques to do as a starting out comedian. That's the technique you can use for the entire duration of your short time on stage. Usually you get 3 to 5 minutes on stage at an open mic, right? Sometimes it's more, but usually that's the safe spot. And what you want to be doing is aiming for just before whatever they give you. If they give you 3 minutes, you'll do just about 2 minutes 30 seconds, 2 minutes 45 seconds. If they give you 5 minutes to perform, you do 4 minutes 30 seconds. You don't need to write any more than that because you give a little bit of time, so you don't overrun, and you give a little bit of time for yourself to speak a little bit slower. All these things are going to come when you're a little more advanced. Don't worry about speaking too slow. You're going to rush too much on your first time anyway. Everybody does. But the most important thing that I hope you get from this video is that how easy it is to get information that's unique to us, that we just happen to notice things and what we do for a living or our relationships, that's all it is. And then we have a little funny things to say about them. And you might be thinking, I'm not really helping you out with the funny things to say. That's because I want you to come up with it yourself, even if those funny things are not funny. Because as I already said about 3 times now in this video, if you rewrite it, they're going to get that little bit funnier every time. You rewrite this 10 times, and in the 10th time, every single time you come up with a different joke. Not, it doesn't even have to be after every piece of information, even just a few different jokes here and then. That set is going to get actually pretty strong for a first time writer of comedy. So there you go. That's the quickest, most in a nutshell video I can possibly make on stand-up comedy writing. There's no excuse because you already have something to say. You've already noticed a few things that happened to you over the last few days, because if you didn't, you'd be fucking dead. And you already have a few ideas of what it is you do for a living, or what your friends are like, what do you get up to, or your relationship, is that good, is that bad, are you in love, do you hate her, do you hate him, what's your family like. Just, you could pick one or two of those topics. You don't have to pick all of them, one or two. Keep it simple. And the most important thing, if you take anything from this video, is stop overthinking about it. Stop thinking about the uphill battle that you have, but you still want to be a comedian, but you just can't get that first set on paper. No, it's not important. Get a couple of things on paper about yourself as quickly as you possibly can. Email the bloody night and get in that venue and get up on stage as quick as you can, because guess what? When you've done it for the first time, afterwards, you're going to feel so fucking good about yourself. You're going to go into the honeymoon phase and you're going to do 50 before you know it. And that set, you don't even need to stray too much away from it. If you keep rewriting it, that one set will do you for years, because the most important things and the things that people want to know from comedy are all in it. It's unique to you and things you've noticed over the past few days. All right, that's going to do it for this video. I really hope it's benefited you, and I hope it's motivated you to go and write some fucking comedy.